Okay, this is my humble pie video because while looking at Gerhofer's excellent write-up on his engine major, which he documented with photographs, I suddenly realized that I had put my guide shoes in wrong. And this is a diagram of the cam belt, and I don't know how clear it's going to be, but these little things up here, I put mine in pointing towards the water pump when they should be pointing out. The good news is I've driven many hundreds of miles at a good speed without any problems, but I thought should be able to correct this, and it is possible to do it with the engine in the car, and this is how to do it. And this is just a picture from Gerhofer's beautiful write-up showing the guide shoe coming out instead of I've had it going down inside the cam cover. So if anybody looked at my previous videos on how to do an engine major, and if they followed my stupid advice, theirs is going down the hole too. So this is going to be how to correct that problem. Okay, since we're trying to get to the very front of the engine to do this, step one of the process was to disconnect the shocks that hold the hood cover on so that I could open it up about another 20 degrees higher, and that allows us to get into where we need to go, and have a couple boards holding the lid up to allow that access. Okay, so to get to our guide shoes, we have to remove this cover that just covers the top of the camshaft drive wheels, and it's got 4 Allen screws, one up top at the corner that's easy to see, one at the bottom corner down there that's easy to see, and then 2 on the far side that you just have to kind of feel and do by feel. So you remove the 4 Allen screws. We'll start with that. Okay, so all Allen head bolts, all 4 of them are removed, so we just pull off the cover, and you can probably hardly see it, but down in the hole there, my guide shoe is stuffing down the hole instead of coming out. So obviously to remove the shoe, you have to go from the outside here and remove the Allen head bolt that holds it in. But before you do that, because once you pull the bolt out, your shoe would go flying down inside the engine, you would never get it out. This is the tricky part. You have to get a piece of fairly malleable wire. Don't use coat hanger, because if you stick the coat hanger in, you get stuck, you won't be able to get it back out. You have to slide it in past the shoe and get it wrapped around the arm, pull it back out, and then wrap the 2 pieces of wire around themselves so that you've got a good grip on your shoe. So once you pull the bolt out, you can pull the shoe out rather than have it disappear into the abyss and you have to pull your whole engine and everything. So you can see how I got the wire wrapped around the throat to pull it out. You kind of have to tilt it a little to the side to get it through the little passage there, but it will come out. So now we just turn it around and put it back in, but leave the wire on till you get the bolt back in and get it in place, because again, you don't want to be dropping it. So now it's going to be going in like that, and we will put the bolt in. So here's the shoe, and it's going to tuck down like that, and then I'm just going to slide the bolt in from the side. Okay, so now it's where it's supposed to be, pointing in the correct direction. Mine's shiny because I ground off a little material to get it to fit the wrong way under the housing, but that's not going to affect it. Now, it's not supposed to actually touch the belt, it's supposed to hang just a little bit above, and I find when I tighten the bolt that's going through, it really does not give enough pressure to keep this thing from flopping down. So what I did was I made a little U-shaped spacer for each side that tucks in the slot here, and then when I crunch the bolt, it will keep it from moving. I made it out of plastic just in case it ever fell out. I didn't want some piece of metal flying around where my cam belt was. So I just tuck it in and then tighten up the bolt. Okay, so it's in place, and they say it's supposed to hang a little bit above the belt. So I read somewhere about thickness of a matchbook cover, so I just used a feeler gauge that's 0.66 millimeters, and it just slides nicely under there without catching, and that should be good enough. So now we just put the cover on. Make sure you tighten up that bolt nice and tight so it won't be bouncing around. And you can see my little shim I put in there to hold it nice and tight. Actually, you probably can't see it, but up close, that's what it looks like. Okay, all the nuts are tightened and everything's buttoned down. She's ready to go. My apologies if anybody had to watch this video because they put their shoes in wrong because of my instructions. Very sorry about that. Thanks to Gerhofer for documenting his engine work, so I knew I'd done it wrong. And here's how to correct it. Good luck if you have to do this. And don't forget that wire so you don't drop the shoe down there.